All right, welcome to RevText, where we help brands better communicate using effective, compliant, and compelling text message marketing. My name is Chad Rickabaugh. I'm the founder of RevText. I'm joined today with the amazing Gigi VanDame, who is our client success manager. Gigi, why don't you give us a little introduction?
Yeah, my name's Gigi. I have started working for Chad about more than a year ago. Came to him as a client looking for help with my brand and just having that one-on-one communication with my customers, and turns out I've fallen in love with texting and talking to my audience through this medium. And this medium has been a game changer in my customer base, so I knew that it would be for other businesses. So now I am part of the team.
That's so awesome, and we're so thankful to have you. As a founder, as a CEO, to be able to hire one of your clients is such a blessing. And we knew right from the get-go that Gigi stood out. She picked up the technology incredibly fast. She has a very superior way of communicating. She's extremely concise, and that's one of the big things that we'll talk about in this communication channel is being concise. As we look at communication for all marketing aspects, we've got email, we've got social media, we've got cold calling, and we've got this new emerging text message marketing. So this is a new emerging tech. There are a lot of regulations, which we'll talk about in later pods, but this is a highly effective way for brands to get their voice right to their consumers, their clients, their customers' phone with a 98% open rate. That's industry standard. So it's amazing. Now, there are some tips and tricks that we're going to talk about. First and foremost, let's talk about segmentation and how would you advise somebody to use segmentation to get maximum results, Gigi?
Yeah, so segmentation is really cool when it comes to the text message marketing side of things, because I know you guys have all been there where you sign up for a text message or email with a brand and your inbox is full every single day, or you're getting promo code every single day and you just feel hounded by this brand. So segmentation helps to target the exact audience that's going to respond to the promotion that you have. So let's take for example, the hair care industry. If you have someone who has super curly hair and dry scalp, and you are talking about an oily scalp and straight hair, that promotion or that information is not going to be value add to them. But if we had segmented them and said, okay, here are my oily scalp people that I'm going to talk to, we can send that promotion right to them so they feel heard, they feel seen, and they're more likely to respond to that promotion than, say, someone who doesn't necessarily fit in that target audience.
That's so true. Yeah, I think it's important to note that as SMS marketers, text message marketers, these messages that we're sending are landing right next to a text from mom, from dad, from your best friend, from your child. So tailoring that message keeps your opt-outs low. Now, Gigi, how would somebody go about tagging or segmenting their audience?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways you can go about this. The long way is manually, right? If you already have contacts in there, you can do it manually. But the other way is you can utilize different forms and things that you have to be able to segment your audience. So if you have, let's stick with the hair theme, if you have a hair quiz that somebody fills out, there can be a question on there that has them tagged with the type of hair that they have. Or if you are working with, let's say you work for a veterinarian and you want to tag based on the type of animal that they have. Those are ways that you can be able to segment by having someone fill out an initial form, a contact form, and then we will import those into the platform to be able to segment.
That's so great. Yeah, we like the line to be psycho about segmentation. And don't send out mass blasts. They don't resonate well. Your opt-outs are going to be extremely high. Tailored conversation is one of the keys to success with text message marketing. Gigi, this is one thing we get asked a lot with by our clients, and it's frequency, maximizing your value add, but then keeping your opt-outs low. Can you talk to us about frequency and how different brands can use different frequencies?
Yeah, so dependent on your brand and brand loyalty, frequency can be really different. Obviously, and Chad likes to use this line, if you have a plumber who's coming once every 5 years, maybe you're not sending your promotion 4 times a month. Someone doesn't necessarily need a plumber 4 times a month. With beauty brands and more fitness brands, those kinds of things, we have seen a higher frequency because people want to hear from those brands. But we're looking at 1 to 2 times a month for promotional. If you want to do some value adding in between your promotionals, maybe we can up the frequency of text messaging in that. But when we're talking directly about promotional texting, we want to stick to 1 to 2 times a month because that really helps keep the relationship up without hounding them about a sale every time there's a good promotion or a random holiday.
That's so good. Can you give us some use cases of how a gym or a personal trainer could use value added text message campaigns?
Yeah, I love the gym and fitness industry. I think it's a really cool industry. And if you are part of that industry, you know the community and the commitment and the discipline that comes from that industry. So I want to hear from my gym, right? I want to hear about all the fun things going on. Or on the value add side, I want to hear about how I could better my form, how maybe what foods I can intake to up my protein in between workouts. These are types of value adds that we can send in between classes or in between promotions. So for example, if you are a personal trainer and you and your client have been working on their pull-up form, right? So maybe in between sessions, you're sending them a link to a YouTube video of you doing push-ups the right or pull-ups the right way, or maybe there's certain muscles that they could be stretching in the interim that would benefit them when they get back to the gym. So these are types of value add campaigns that we can send, or even something as simple as letting them know about getting the ideal amount of rest and water intake in between. Those are huge value adds that maybe as a personal trainer, you're thinking, oh, everyone knows that they should be drinking water or everyone knows that they should be stretching. But these are things that people don't necessarily think of or make time for in their day. So a simple text message could then increase their results with you because they're now thinking, oh, I should go get some water, or yeah, let me stretch before I hit the gym.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, those value adds. I love the Alex Hormozy, give as much value for free. So that way, when you go to ask for a sale, the person almost feels reciprocal or obligated to make that purchase. There's a relationship, and it shows that you actually care about the end results, and you're not just a greedy, business trying to increase revenue. And that's so good. All right. We are living in the world of artificial intelligence. I think we're at the foothills of this mountain that are coming. It's an amazing tool. We leverage it significantly. There are some do's and don'ts. Gigi, can you talk to us about AI do's and don'ts? And I want to hear your opinion on the dreaded M dash.
Oh, that's a touchy subject between Chad and I. Let's talk about do's and don'ts with AI. So when it comes to utilizing something like ChatGPT for your text message marketing, couple things you want to keep in mind. Number one is originality and authenticity will always win.
Amen.
Always win. And people hear it and they see it. And you might not think like, oh, well, catch AI, but you feel it. There's something when you pick up your phone and you read a text message and you're like, there's just something off, or there's no heart behind this, or there's a cold front with this text message. 9 times out of 10, it's probably AI. So I would recommend you want to craft your own campaign first. Craft your own text message first and get out what you want to say. Then inside an AI like ChatGPT, we like to use the prompt, brainstorm variations of this text And you can add in there the kind of tone that you would like, or the brand voice. So whether that's, brainstorm variations of this text with a friendly tone or with an urgent tone, then you can see the difference, and maybe there's something that you want to grab from one of the variations and just play this mix and match game that get across exactly what you want to say with your brand voice. Now, Chad will tell you that a key proponent of AI text messaging is the M dash. If you don't know what an M dash is, it is that little line in the middle of a sentence that kind of breaks it up. Often could be replaced with a comma.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I will say, myself, and I'm shouting out my sister-in-law here, we both use the M dash in our regular conversations. So for us, it's never been an AI thing, but AI does use it in almost everything. So it could be a way to identify an AI conversation. I'm going to leave that up to the reader, though. Maybe you should follow us on Instagram and DM us and let us know if you use an M dash or not.
Yeah, I do feel bad for people like you and Rachel who have used the M dash prior, and now this amazing tool is also using the M dash. It is a kind of a compliment to you guys.
Thank you. It just shows that I was AI before AI.
Correct. Correct. And I had a dear friend and client, Tracy Martin, say that AI does not have heart. And I think for the people who use it, we can spot it a mile away. I recently received an email from an individual, and it was a dead giveaway that it was written in AI. I felt dirty. I felt wronged. It wasn't real. So we want to recommend that you use ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or whatever AI tool copywriter you're using as a draft, as a template to increase your readability, remove any words, especially in text messaging. This is a very concise medium. We want to keep things short and sweet. Of the hundreds of campaigns that we send a month, the best performing campaigns are around that 240 character or even sub 160 characters. Because let's be honest, the attention span is becoming the fastest growing commodity, and in a world where people are just scrolling, nobody's reading a long text. So use ChatGPT to redact any words that don't create value. But when you create that final copy, use heart and remove the M dash. I'm sorry.
Unless people are used to you using it.
Oh, well, it's done. You have to put it on the shelf. The M dash is dead as we know
If you
it.
receive a text from me personally, I will keep using it.
Yes.
But no, it's not AI. But I will say this as well with AI is it is a great tool to use. At the end of the day, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, and that's where we go back to segmentation, is if we are targeting the right audience, then our words, yes, they matter, and yes, being concise and clear matter. But at the end of the day, if you are churning over AI and just trying to get AI to write the perfect message for you, I promise you, once you have a draft and look it over and it is concise and clear and meets all of your criteria, as long as it's going to the right person, you can't necessarily say the wrong thing.
That's so good. That's so good. So some tactical wisdom here for you. Some of the go-to prompts that we use. So AI is only as good as the prompt that you put into it. Gigi mentioned the actual golden star for us, and that is brainstorm variations. Those two words get you not just one, it gets you a lot. And the word brainstorm will provide you with various tones. So a warm, a compelling, an eager, a FOMO, and those are great. And just as Gigi said, piece and mix and match different copies so that it resonates with your audience. Another prompt that we love is rate the following SMS campaign and recommend improvements, and then paste your draft campaign in there. And it's going to analyze your SMS or text message campaign for readability, for personalization on your call to action. So that's a great prompt. Gigi, let's talk about call to actions or CTAs. What advice can you give to an SMS or text message marketer on making sure your call to action is compelling?
Yeah, I will say with number one thing with call to action is make sure your call to action matches your SMS. So if it's a value adding SMS, we are not necessarily asking for a call to action to buy.
That's good.
We are more so asking for a call to action to build relationship or nurture the relationship in one way. Something like that could look like if you are in the fitness industry and you're setting a campaign that says a value add campaign that talks about stretching and you talk about a specific stretch, maybe your call to action in that text is going to say, respond with the muscle emoji when you try this, or something like that, that one encourages them to do what you're saying in the value add campaign, but two, it also gets a reply back so you can keep that conversation, that one-on-one communication going. And then in a promotional campaign, if you are sending, hey, use promo code POD for whatever, then you want to ensure that your call to action is so clear. If there's multiple steps to your checkout, or if there's multiple steps to how they're going to link up with you in order to get your service or product, we want to make sure that we make that as streamlined as possible. So if it is multiple steps to your checkout, maybe it's reply yes for more information. Or if it's log into your account and drop down menu, whatever that looks like. But we want to be really clear with what we're asking them to do so that they step by step can go and do it, not just say, oh, let me know if you want more information. The let me know, throw it out.
Gone.
Throw it out. We're not using let me know. Let me know what?
That's so good. Yeah, I think on smaller brands, it's tough to do this when you're sending 1 million texts per month, but letting them know that this is a monitored line. Like, that helps build relationships, trust. It will keep your opt-outs low. So it could be reply with a keyword that has an automation, or it could be questions. Let us know. This is a monitored line. And letting them know that it's not just some generic machine sending out the text, that there is a person behind that.
And asking for the reply.
Yeah, it's good.
Like saying reply blank with, or reply to this text so I know you saw it. We found in some of our brands, especially in the more personal brand, if you have a personal brand or you're a face behind a brand, maybe pulling on some of the humor or sarcasm.
Right.
That plays to people's like, okay, this is a human and not just some AI thing, because I don't think AI is really capable of being that sarcastic. But if you're like, hey, this is a real person, so you can reply and I will answer. Or if you are a brand sending, and maybe we'll get into this a little bit, but sending a photo of yourself, sending a photo of your family saying, hey, this is Gigi VanDame with RevText. I'm so excited to be able to serve you, and making it a really personal line of communication so that they know, okay, I'm talking to Gigi. I'm not just talking to RevText as the business.
That's so good. For the iOS or iPhone users, when they reply, when your subscriber replies, it immediately removes the report junk. So we don't want your subscribers reporting junk. Now, we do not cold text here at RevText. We have a line, thou shall not cold text. So we have to have opt-in consent. And you don't want to be cold texting anyways. It does no benefit to your brand, and it's just annoying, and people hate you for it. So this is a marketing channel for brands with high loyalty, with customers or clients that want to hear from your brand. So get them to reply. It removes the report junk. It also improves what's called your trust score. Every phone number has a trust score that's monitored by the campaign registry and the TCPA. The higher your trust score is, the higher your deliverability, the less likely your text is going to be rejected from a cell phone carrier. And it will allow for greater throughput as you grow your brand. So get them to respond as much as possible, and then make sure that you respond as well. There's nothing worse than somebody thinking they can reply, they ask a question about the product, and then they never get an answer. So monitor your campaigns after they go out for up to 72 hours. Let's go into the ways to keep your opt-outs low. The dreaded opt-out, the stop. Tell us about what you would recommend to our clients to keep their opt-outs low, Gigi.
Yeah, a couple things. The first thing I would say is if this is your first time messaging them, a welcome text. Some sort of text that lets them know what you're going to be sharing with them, who you are, and the value that you're going to bring. And maybe throwing a little sarcasm in there that says something like, don't worry, I'm not going to hound you with a million text messages. And then you need to have, especially when you're mass texting, you need to have an opt-out. So a lot of times that looks like reply stop to unsubscribe, reply stop to end. There is one that I've found for more personal brands that I've loved to use because it does sound a little bit more personal than reply stop to unsubscribe, which is to not receive text from me, reply stop. And that one, it makes it a little bit more personal of saying like, hey, I won't text you anymore, you just reply stop. That's been a great one for more personal brands. But yeah, those will help with reducing the opt-out because when people know that they can opt out, that's helpful. But also when they know what they're getting from you, they're less likely to opt out. Because if you just send them a promotional campaign from the jump, they're out of there. They're like, when did I sign up for this? Or why did I sign up for this? But if you're, and using their first name, if you have the ability to use dynamic fields, which our first name, last name, those types of things. If you can use their first name and say, hey, Chad, this is Gigi, introducing, making that welcome message, it feels so much more personal than saying, hey, friend, or hey there, or just hey. Yeah. We also want to stay away from hey, friend.
Friend is a bad word.
Weird. Friend, don't say the F word, okay? Bad word. Don't say friend. In mass text message marketing, there is a whole bunch of words that feel a little salesy or put up some red flags. And we do have a link to a newsletter about those that we can throw in the show notes for you guys that talk about all the words to not use in your text message marketing for better readability and deliverability.
That's so true. Yeah, the cell phone providers are a gatekeeper for your message getting delivered. So friend, as we've learned, even though you may use it, and just like Gigi uses the M-dash, friend will get identified as spam and will affect your deliverability. Now, not every cell phone provider, whether it's AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, has these same filters. T-Mobile in particular happens to have the most defined filters, and so deliverability there can be particular. If you send out a message and you get a 10% opt-out rate, it could lower your trust score. It could flag you for audit. So you want to make sure that you're keeping track of where you received those opt-in messages to be compliant with the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, the TCPA. Now, all of our RevText clients are advised on how to remain compliant with these regulations. And listen, I'm a less government's better government. I don't like rules and regulations. This is one where I believe in it because, like we said earlier, these texts are landing right next to mom and dad and your kids. So we don't want to be spamming. It's not a good look for your business, and it can get you in significant trouble. Also, we have started sending out contact cards or VCFs at initial opt-in. This is a great way. This is texting 102. When we send out the contact card, they can save the contact. It has your picture or your logo in the actual icon. It has your name and it can include links to all of your social medias, include a support email address. It creates so much value. It removes the report junk option, so they can't even do that. So we recommend sending out contact cards at your first opt-in.
Going back to the do's and don'ts of what not to say,
Yes.
or things that go into spam, I think that might be a good segue into Shaft and what that
Yes.
looks like.
Yes, SHAFT is one of my favorite acronyms, and it stands for SEX. I won't say it. Hate, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So while you can send text for like the firearms or alcohol related industry, you have to age gate, you have to confirm the date of birth, you have to keep that record and prove it at audit. Now, if you're sending these campaigns, you will get audited, so be prepared for it. No cannabis, no marijuana, anything like that will immediately get flagged by the carriers, and you don't want to send it. So sadly, we turn away those type of brands because we can't do it. It's not on brand for RevText to begin with, and there's a ton of federal regulations with that. So be extremely careful. Even if you have a cannabis infused product, you can't use that word or you will be banned. And trust me, the cell phone providers are using AI. They're no longer manually auditing your campaigns. AI does it and it will catch it. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and as a RevText client, we'll brief you on all these regulations, throughout our kickoff call and then reoccurring. We're big fans of compliance because the penalties are huge, and furthermore, it's not good for your brand. So we want to keep opt-outs low and keep your campaigns getting delivered. All right, let's talk something fun. That was compliance and regulations can get boring. Let's talk about emojis. Gigi?
Hold on, Chad. You're like going
Lagging.
slow. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about emojis. I know Gigi is the queen of emojis. You happen to be really good with them with copywriting. Tell us about the do's and don'ts for emojis.
Emojis are fun. I love emojis. With all of the new customers that we have that come onto RevText, one of our questions to get to know their brand voice is, what are your go-to emojis? That one helps us learn a little bit about you. We might judge you based on your emoji. No, I'm just kidding. But it lets us know what you want to communicate with your brand, number one. And number two, it really does help when you maybe want to say more, but with less words. Emojis help to communicate better. So we don't want to over emoji. Okay, you're not putting 3 hearts or like 25 mind-blown emojis. Like those types of things is a little much. I would say in a decent campaign that's probably 3 lines long, you would want to do max 3 emojis, 1 emoji per line. So you're not overwhelming. I would also say to really figure out your brand's emojis and stick to them, because that will start being part of your overall brand, and people will know like, oh, Gigi always texts with that pink flower, and so I know it's her. And then with something that's like urgent, you can utilize the alarm emoji or the double exclamation red emoji. Those types of things grab people's attention, which is really helpful in text message, because if you do need to communicate something that might have a little bit more information, emojis and spacing, which maybe we can go into after emojis,
please,
will help ease the eye of the reader so that they can break down that text. We want to stay away from something we refer to as the angry X text.
the dreaded angry X text.
We've all been there.
What is that? What is that, Gigi?
1,000,001. We just get a huge, huge message with no emojis, maybe no punctuation, just absolutely line after line after line, and you're tired of reading. I recently just saw an app that you can screenshot long messages and throw them into the app, so the app tells you, it breaks down the message for you to give you the key points. Guys, why do we have an app when we should just be better at communicating through text? So that's why we're here. We're gonna avoid that app and help you create super concise, compelling, clear text messages through the use of emojis and spacing, which help just communicate your brand so much better, but also add a little fun and flair to it so that people aren't just bored reading word after word.
When somebody texts me with the angry X text and it's a long block, I call them immediately. And they'll say, "Oh, I just texted you." And I'll act like I didn't see it. And I'll go, "Oh, I'm just calling to check in, see how everything's going." I don't even read it. I'd rather just talk to somebody on the phone. Don't send that. We want to do spacing. So pressing the enter or the return button between lines makes your copy a little bit more digestible, easier to read. They're not going to miss that CTA, that call to action, and they're going to get more value. You're going to get higher read rates. And that's our main goal, is looking at campaign performance. Awesome. Well, Gigi, I thank you. And in closing, what are some of your favorite emojis?
Oh, I do the hand hearts.
Okay,
Are
classic.
my favorite hand hearts. The little sparkle that has like there's one big one and then a little one
Oh
right
yeah.
next to it. The sparkle. I do like the white heart. And then the sun emoji with the face.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then the it's like a leaf or branch that kind of
Yes.
goes to the side and it looks like a little eucalyptus. But those are my go-to.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then the disco ball if I'm feeling fun.
Disco ball, she gets wild. I like the dancing
That's
girl
why.
one. I see a lot of girls send that.
Oh, the dancing girl.
That's
What are your
fun.
go-tos?
My go-to is definitely the flex.
Yep.
I happen
Knew
to
it.
be a big fan of that. The laughing one, the sideways tilt laugh. I think that means more than the straight vertical symmetrical laugh.
Yeah.
And then I got a new one. It's the eye slant when it's kind of cringe. That's a good one as well. So
It's awesome.
awesome. Well, Gigi, thank you so much for the time today. If you've listened to this and you want to use text message marketing to increase your revenue, your customer engagement, maybe promote an event, there's no better time than now. Reach out to us at revtext.io. You can book a discovery call with Gigi and I, and we'd love to learn more about your brand. On our discovery calls, know that we're going to listen to you first and foremost before we ever make an offer. We want to know your problems, your pain points, your competitors, your brand voice, to see if you'd be a good fit for RevText and for text message marketing. We appreciate you so much, and thank you for listening.
Bye.